My friends, Crowder had cold feet for a long time, okay? His father rubbed ice cubes against his little toesies, made him cold. Sam Seder finally got the opportunity to talk to Crowder thanks to some shenaniganry on the part of Dan, the editor who works with Ethan Klein. We got it now. It just came out. It's hot and fresh. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of the H3 Podcast. Today's my first ever debate.
For those who don't know, by the way, okay, this is like a WWE match, okay? Ethan Klein is supposed to debate Steven Crowder. They've been beefing over some Dr. Fauci mask, listen to the government type stuff. What they don't know is Sam Seder is wearing body paint and is hidden in the background. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Against the one and only Steven Crowder, who, thank you very much. Thank you. Steven Crowder.
Please stand up.
Who's standing up?
Ethan, please stand up.
Ethan, oh man.
Ethan, please stand up.
Who am I to disobey our great, glorious leader?
Wait a second. Are these holsters that Ethan is wearing? That's great. Making fun of Crowder for that cringe virtue signal he always does, where Crowder, who, I have a feeling that, like, I could be talking up my ass here, but I feel like if Crowder, like, fired a gun, he would yelp. But he always wears these shoulder holsters.
Crowder challenged.
Oh, and we've been given permission from Ethan to broadcast this. Thank you. Okay, because I saw people in chat complaining. I specifically asked. Okay, let's go.
Me to a debate. He called me a layup. He said I was stupid. Well, Steven, I think the debate speaks for itself. And before I show you guys the debate, I do want to give you a little bit of a background on Steven Crowder. For those of you who are not aware, he is one of the most hateful, bigoted people on YouTube by far. He is a racist, homophobic, transphobic douchebag. Really, I'll say that. I'm wearing the gun holsters in his honor because he's a guy who wears gun holsters on his show to show how hyper masculine he is. And so I felt I needed to step up my masculine energy to match him. I want to show you guys some of his greatest hits. You know, Steven is currently suspended from the monetization program on YouTube because he's just done so much said and done such horrible and offensive things, including...
Yeah, the thing that makes Crowder really, really special, you know how people like Ben Shapiro will make the arguments racists and transphobes make, but he'll try to, like, present it in, like, an argumentative, I'm just presenting the facts and logic type way, you know? Crowder doesn't bother with any of that. When Crowder's racist, he just makes fun of black people. He just does a black voice and makes jokes about black people. When he's transphobic, he doesn't lay out the arguments. It just says that he thinks they're disgusting. It's really, really admirable. Oh, just today, I uploaded a stream clip where I watched Steven Crowder essentially argue that gay men are pedophiles. This is like some 1980s tier homophobia, but like Steven Crowder's show, you know? He'll just, hey, he's here for it. He'll just come out with anything. Yeah, the Hennessy tree comment, him like dressing up with like the buck teeth and Chinese hat, and he always does this. That one segment where he made fun of the kids in the camps, by having like a Latin coworker in a cage cry out for his burrito while remember that? Like, I need water, I need my burrito. That? The George Floyd reenactment? Yeah, Steven Crowder, he's a very special man. I've done plenty of stuff on him. You all should. He's a pretty bad guy. I don't think by the way, there are people who say, like, none of it's genuine, you know? Blair White has said that behind the scenes, he's not transphobic at all. So he really just doesn't believe anything. He just, like, you can hand him money. And that's, he'll just say whatever, you know? With some top-tier comedy, too. Anyway, I don't want to take too much away from this video. Please, I've given my intro, just let it away, okay?
COVID, misinformation, a racist reenactment of the George Floyd murder. This was the day he came back from from being temporarily suspended as well. And he had his friend kneel on his back, not even on his neck, right? Look at this, for 9 minutes or whatever it was. And this obviously proves nothing. So he's a propagandist as well. He hits all categories. He said recently that all gay icons have AIDS and that they shouldn't be role models.
We didn't even cover that, but yeah.
This was a pretty hot take considering the information he said was just factually wrong as well. But here we go.
Honestly, let's look at all major historical gay. You look at milk.
Yeah.
You look at. I mean,
the one you
these are
drink
people-
or the one?
No, you look at having milk. You look at people. You look at Dallas. These
This
are
me?
people with AIDS.
He named like one
These are
guy.
people. Look, I think that if we
These people have AIDS. Why are we listening to milk?
Wait.
Of course, didn't
He named like what? Wait, yeah, did Milk even?
have AIDS.
Yeah, I don't even think Milk. Yeah, just say whatever. Yeah, just had just gay guys. I don't know. Turing. No, wait, not Turing. What was his name? The British code breaker. What was his? No, that was Turing. Oh yeah, Turing. Yeah. It's like Turing. Yeah, he had AIDS. I don't know. Just whatever. Anything. King George III, rumored to be gay, probably AIDS. I don't know. Whatever. Me, AIDS. I guess I'm a gay icon. I don't know. The funny thing is, if Crowder knew anything about gay history, he probably could have named like 20 gay icons from the 1980s who did die of AIDS, because there was an AIDS epidemic at the same time that there was a movement for gay civil rights. So if he actually knew anything, he probably could have named some people, but you know,
As we pointed out. So, like, the whole not that it matters because people with AIDS are still human beings, but his information was wrong, of course. Stephen Crowder, Asian Cultural Appropriation Month. He's so edgy, you guys.
This week marks the second show in June, which is officially Louder with Crowders,
There we go.
Cultural Appropriation Month, where we take you across the globe to experience and appreciate all the great cultures this world has to offer.
I mean, this is the guy who flirts with being openly racist.
comedian.
He went viral recently for doing a racist. Oh, he was saying that there's no such thing as black farmers. This was a pretty hot take recently as well. You guys tell me if you think this is racist.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture discriminated against black farmers, but little was done to address the
100
problem.
years ago.
Yeah, most happy about the new policy. These people. So yeah, I'm gonna buy a plow, man.
I'm gonna plant that corn.
Go get a John Deere. Barack Obama, mother. I'm the president of plowing that head.
I thought the last thing they would want to do is
Pretty embarrassing stuff, I gotta say. So if you feel too bad for Steven, just remember what a piece of shit he is, because he gets absolutely demolished here. I'm not even gonna lie. This debate is just not good for Steven. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. I'm just showing you all this so you don't feel too bad for him. He, of course, he sold famously a God Hates Figs shirt, right? Figs. When called out for it, he was too much of a coward to actually own what it says, but he sold this. He said it says socialism is for figs, which is why, of course, you have the limp wrist, which of course makes total sense. And by the way, what better thing to put on your child than a homophobic, psychotic T-shirt? I mean, yeah, start the brainwashing young, guys. That's how you become homophobic as an adult. There was this reporter named Carlos Maza,
is like
who he was using homophobic slurs about
Crowder
for a long
best
time.
hits.
This was a pretty good scoop.
Before we get to the video, with our favorite lispy.
Oh, look at the shirt he's wearing. Oh, he's not homophobic. Socialism is for figs. And here he is talking about a gay reporter in a homophobic way.
From Vox. It's ridiculous. It's bonkers. You're being given a free pass as a crappy writer because you're gay.
That center line on his little queer
Yeah,
graph
this is
there.
like a Crowder content cop right here.
Graph is queer.
Violence, filth.
H3 has a big normie audience who has heard this. Yeah, I'm really glad that he's preempting with this, because I think it's really, really important to remember that we don't argue with conservatives because we have like esoteric disagreements on like sideline social issues, but we're both working together in our own ways to make the world better. We fight against conservatism because they're fucking monsters. Because people like Crowder are just reprehensible, hateful people. There's not like even a pretense of justification for any of this. It's just like it's really important to remember. This isn't like two groups with different ideas on how to improve the world. It really is just there are people who want to make the world worse, and there are people who disagree on how to make it better. Sometimes it really is that simple. When I was a kid, I thought, you know, the world is that simple. And then when I was like 13, I thought, no, actually everything is shades of gray. And now that I'm an adult, no, actually, sometimes it really is that simple. There are people who will just make everything worse for money or just because they hate people. They just hate people.
Okay, so the little queer can eat his chips all nonchalantly. It's code for rape, Mr. Queer eating chips on the Vox channel. Chip, but you can eat just one, like dicks. This is what Mr. Gay Vox wants to do. Mr. Lispy Queer from Vox. What were you holding, Gay?
By the way, for someone who always is like identity politics are ruining America, he really likes to categorize people by their identity. Anyway, this goes on for a minute 30. You get the idea. It's hard to watch. The guy is absolutely off the deep end.
Most popular
course,
conservative on
YouTube
YouTube,
really,
by the way.
Locked down on him for was the COVID misinformation, stuff like this, which let me just say for the record is false. So please, YouTube, this is not my belief. So do not ban me. Thank you.
The wearing of masks has proven to lessen the spread of COVID.
Really?
Why don't you support a mandate for national mask wearing? And why don't you wear a mask more often?
Constitution much, you old crazy bitch? Why don't you just have a mandate to force people to wear a mask? Do you know why that's a problem? To force people to wear an item of clothing, which, by the way, when you're talking about the...
You have to wear pants in public, dipshit. It exists. You can't walk around dick out, bro. Try it. He also went dressed as a trans woman to a gym to prove how uncomfortable it made everybody in a transphobic video.
Darn tranny. It's always giving me problems with them. That's the last time I drive a Chevy. I'll tell you that. Anyway, this week I changed my gender and went to Planet Fitness.
So this week there was a big controversy at Planet Fitness when this person wanted to use the ladies' restroom. One lady felt uncomfortable, complained.
Look, he goes to Planet Fitness to
own the
prove
libs,
how uncomfortable he can make everyone, and honestly, he's just a big douche, and nobody cares, and everyone's super tolerant. So the only...
Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm going to take a dig also. It has nothing to do with politics, but like, Steven Crowder works out. Does he work legs? I'm being real with you, okay? Because Crowder's got some guns, and I feel like this is a flat fucking ass, okay? I feel like my man needs to hit up some time in the squat rack, okay? Maybe that's why he fell over so easy when that union worker decked him and laid him flat, because he was standing up on twigs.
And nobody cares, and everyone's super
He would
tolerant.
only work chest and arms, by the way.
The only actual reasonable explanation for this video is that he's fulfilling a fantasy to cross-dress, of which he was very committed, by the way. So props to him. Steven, through all of his hateful comment, obviously has been demonetized. He's been suspended, everything. And he's turned it into a whole kind of talking point for him and his fan base, to the point where he's filed a lawsuit against YouTube to generate more clicks, more cash. Oddly, there's no public record of this lawsuit, which leads me to believe that he's never actually filed it. Well, my tiff with Steven came when he said that our clip about COVID, when we were saying it's okay to listen to scientists, said it was his favorite clip of all time. We went back and forth for people who have been following, and Steven boldly challenged me to a debate in a video titled "Your Move, Ethan."
I will invite you on the show, Ethan Klein. I will have I'll follow you on Twitter. I will have Darren, my booker, reach out where you can come on this show.
Darren's his dad, by the way, right? Just say your dad, bro. He keeps trying to hide that it's his dad. You guys will get more info about the dad. But Darren's his dad.
We usually go after political figures, authoritative sources right on this show. Usually those are the people who we have to debate. Change My Mind is not a debate, but we've had politicians, scientists, Pulitzer winners, and every now and then a layup crosses our path who we just kind of like the shtick that you're only capable of.
Now, in our original video about Crowder, we had noticed that he had reached out to me to book me on his show, and he was kind of butthurt that I ghosted him all this time. And in this video, he claims here that he never reached out to a booker and that I'm lying about it. So here's what he says about that.
going to assume that you didn't blatantly lie in some of the things that you said, that you're just really lazy or incapable of your due diligence. So you said we'll get to a female booker reached out to you for the show. Hey, Gerald, have I ever had a female booker?
That's a no.
Never,
That's a
ever,
negative.
ever. Now, you're
Always
either
been
lying
my
or-
dad.
Women on this show. So that's impossible.
Or you're so lazy. Because I don't want to bully you, and then you go and try and get us removed. You're so lazy, you didn't even just verify the fact that it was complete.
Well, you know what? I took this to heart. So I said, you know what, Stephen, I am going to look into this. I found the email that was sent to me. It was very professional. And it still had her social media contacts on it. And so I followed her down on Instagram, and I said, hey, blank, did you ever do booking for Louder with Crowder? I'm just trying to verify that this email I got from you invited.
Wait, hold on. Was RTBA seething about this? Okay, wait, never mind. Some people are saying that I didn't get permission from Ethan Klein to watch this, but I mean that'd be a pretty obvious thing to catch me out in a lie about. Let's just have fun with this, huh?
Me on the show is real or not? Thanks. Here's the email, by the way. Super professional. Definitely a real email, by the way. This one in particular, she immediately responded to me. She said, yes, I did booking for him years ago for a few months. I'm not quite sure whose contact you'd have now. I know his dad does his booking for him, though. Let me know if you need it to try to find his contact. Interesting that she knows that detail. That makes me think that is very real. And that he's lying about inviting me on his show. How odd. Well, yeah, and while we're talking about lying, Stephen, why don't you tell him that you never filed a lawsuit? Tell us if you filed that lawsuit against YouTube, Stephen. Come on, be honest with your viewers.
Okay, we're 10:30.
And you know, Stephen says he does. I'll play it for you here.
Call out
Whoa!
Ethan Klein.
Okay.
You're 3 years older now. It's time. It's time to debate Sam. So
and notably, he doesn't include this. He watches the whole clip, but not the debate.
So this is some preeminent drama between H3 and Crowder, which totally valid stuff. Sorry about the spoilers, folks.
Of his father. The thing is, he's happy to challenge me, somebody that has no political knowledge, very little. I don't spend my day talking and thinking about politics, nor am I a debater. No.
Stop skipping. Okay, sorry, I won't listen to people in chat. I hate you people.
You know,
we're going to speed it up slightly.
Bully me, but here he goes.
Because I'm very excited to see the debate,
and I am feeling very insecure now that Stephen has taken a shot at me.
Wait, the Kleenex.
Let me just say, first of all, you
hold on a second.
We were making fun of the fact that Stephen had Kleenex on his table, which is pretty funny. Let's be honest. He's sitting there with gun holsters and tissue. I mean, what is he crying every second? So listen to this.
That's due to allergies. Okay, so I had a bronchial thing, which is community guidelines in a mutable condition. It's genetic.
Oh, poor Stephen with his allergies. Don't put the tissue on your desk. It's funny. All right, don't get so twisted up. Look how twisted he gets about me laughing about him crying all the time. He needs a box of tissue on his desk.
But I guess there's a ceasefire here, so we can talk about any genetic conditions like the lack of chin, lack of beard, 120-pound man wearing the Cinderella bandana on his head.
That one I didn't get. What's the 120-pound man? Cinderella?
I couldn't really follow.
If he's talking about me, I am not 120-pound. Trust me, dude.
Yeah, is that a...
We don't have it.
I mean, no hate or anything. Just
anyway.
And to compensate with the beard that he uses just for men, or the eyebrow phrase like E.T. in the cornfield. It's so stupid, bro. The point is,
I always think it's like.
You know what's funny? The way Steven Crowder throws insults actually reminds me of the way that like bitchy teenage girls would back in high school. Where if you say anything even remotely negative about them, they'll pull back for a second. They'll go like, "Oh, okay, I didn't think we were doing that." Okay, but then they'll just spend the next like 5 minutes unloading every shower argument they've ever had against you. You know, just every dig they've ever thought about, which they've thought when they think about it, you know, just unload it. But all of it with the sort of airy prissiness of somebody who's pretending that you were the one who instigated everything. I guess he's operating about it like on par in terms of his like mental level.
Hilarious when people actually go to the debase themselves to making fun of my Tourette's. You know, it's like, well, okay, dude, and I really got you hard with the tissue thing, bro. Just don't put the tissue on. I can't hide my Tourette's.
You fired the first volley by making fun of his allergies. So.
Your allergies, dude. Poor Steven Crowder has a disability.
Yeah, we didn't realize he had a disability like that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, bro.
Ableism.
I had all that coming. Yeah. I am deeply offended, though, at the bullying portrayed, and I take absolute cross with that. You know, and Dan had this one moment that actually went a little bit viral in the political community that Stephen notably ignored during our tit for tat. I'll play it for you here. And this is where I'm leading to.
A lot of people, but just because I feel like there's a decent chance Steven Crowder will see this, and this will be the only time that I get to say this. Debate Sam Seder, dude. Stop being such a pussy. I know that your dad doesn't want you to. And, you know.
By the way, is this Dan, by the way? Is this the guy who set up things behind the scene? There's Dan, right? Dan the man. That's Dan.
But that was a long time ago. That was you're 3 years older now. It's time. It's time to debate Sam. So
and notably, he doesn't include this. He watches the whole clip, but not the debate Sam Seder.
Weird, he didn't cover that part. He went into a lot of detail on everything else.
Oh, yeah. Oh, exhaustive detail. Huh. Now, who is Sam Seder? Sam Seder is the host of a political left-leaning show called The Majority Report. Has 1 million subs. He's a big channel. Crowder famously backed out of a scheduled debate with Sam at Politicon, earning him the name Cold Feet Crowder at the behest of his dad. Sam secretly recorded the phone call with the organizer of the event, who exposed Crowder. Here's the call.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
I think you're bigger. Yeah, I don't know what his team is doing around him, and that's just for me to speculate at this point. I don't know.
He has a team. He has a whole team, and he won't do it. He can bring the team.
I believe it's his father, but I can't confirm or deny that.
By the way, everyone seems to be confirming that it's his dad doing all this shit behind the scenes somehow. So people speculate that he actually backed out of the debate because Sam is actually, an informed, good debater, and they were afraid that, Crowder would look like an idiot. And so he backed out at the last minute at the behest of his father. The thing is, he's happy to challenge me,
no, son.
Somebody that
you're not
has
ready.
No political knowledge, very little. I don't spend my day talking and thinking about politics, nor am I a debater, nor am I, let's be honest, intelligent.
Hey, you know how there are like so many kids animated movies, and it's like the little peppy kid has a dream, but the parents don't believe in him, so the kid goes on an adventure and ends up proving. How funny would a movie be where like Crowder is that little kid? You know what I mean? Like, I want to debate with the big boys, and like his gruff father doesn't pay him any mind because he's just supposed to be like an idiot fail-son comedian who just gets the laughs of the lowest IQ conservative like demographic, And like Crowder goes on this big journey to prove what a big boy he is, and it just utterly fucking faceplats at the end of all of it. Just nothing. Just absolute dead weight at the end. That'd be a good movie.
Sophie, right? Let's be honest. So with all that being said, we figured let's get someone who is familiar with the topics, who does spend their time thinking about politics, and who is, unlike me, smart. So we've got a little surprise for Steven Crowder. So let's all enjoy the debate.
I'm really glad to have my next guest on the show, and I've always said this. I always respect people who enter into the arena. And we've had a lot of debates on this show, which is different from like a Change My Mind where we sit down and have conversations. But my old Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach always said,
"Yeah, 1 time speed, 1 time speed. We're not extra speeding this. 1 times. Let's go. Let's go.
If you come a switch, we go switch. You go spicy. We're gonna do a little spicy."
Really glad we got. I'm glad we got to experience his accent just at the right time. I just savor that at normal speed.
So we always try and keep it as respectful as possible. And I really do appreciate the guy making the time, because a lot of people has a huge YouTube channel, several YouTube channels, one of the OGs. Mm-hmm. A lot of people watch him. You know him. Some of you like him. Some of you don't. Same can be said for me. Ethan Klein from H3H3. Ethan, thanks, man, for making the time.
You're very welcome. And I just want to say, I know you called me. You said that I would be a layup.
I think I used something like that.
And I think you're right, because I don't think I'm a very good debater. I think you know that. So I didn't want to make it too easy for you.
Oh, okay.
So I've prepared.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
Dan,
what we were going to talk about is the initial quote that happened. I think he's looking off there. The initial quote that kind of was turned into a little bit of a meme, which wasn't intentional, and was you saying you don't even have to think about it regarding the CDC. And I disagree with that. I think people should think about it. I believe.
Look at his demeanor change, dude. Even before anything happens, listen to how much his voice changes.
Talked about this through playful ribbing and an aggregation of medical authorities and scientific voices to make an informed and rational decision. So where do you think that I'm wrong on that?
Stephen, do you know that the Spartans are like practice man love with children?
Oh, geez. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. What did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid. Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Seder! What a fucking nightmare! I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are. Yeah, I told Dave, remember I told you? I said, I guarantee you he's going to do anything he can to avoid the debate.
Oh, I just think he believes that he should debate you.
No, he doesn't. He just takes advantage of women with, mental health issues. Ethan Klein doesn't
mad.
stand up and do to his own
I
fighting.
gotta say,
It's just hilarious. Let's bring on FM.
You would do anything to avoid talking to me. I think the point that you made
Yes,
at the beginning of
Joe
this
Rogan.
was-
Joe Rogan and Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson and Noam Chomsky and Sam Harris. Everyone's been avoiding.
And not just attempting
Sam
to get
Seder.
your audience by jumping in.
Well, I debated with Charlie Kirk. Stephen, I mean, it's about issues. Let's
It's about
talk about
issues,
those
yeah.
issues.
That's
I
what
think
you're
you have
doing
some
here.
valid
Yeah.
points.
You're
that
so
I think we
clever.
should
I had no
discuss.
idea that you were taking your show off early last time, coming in today with your pig pen peanuts
I
eyes.
wish everything.
He's mad.
You take those off with the velveteen
really are.
buttons.
We must have been
Black
very
eyes,
worried about
aren't
this,
they? Like
Stephen.
it.
I don't know why.
No
It would
one's
be-
worried
Oh,
about
come on.
it.
So
Say, I
concerned.
didn't want to
Well,
do
let's have
Sam-
the
I love it. God, in Steven Crowder, I'm seeing every person I debate who realizes they've lost and start like hardcore malding, like before anything even happens. I've already seen it. Yeah, and by the way, he admitted that he was watching Sam Seder's channel. He just said you went off your stream early that day. He admits they were screening Sam Seder's channel just to make sure that this exact thing didn't happen. But with the pre-recording, Sam was able to come in during. All the preparation of the world. They were looking for Trojan hippos, but they couldn't keep their eye out for the horse.
Come
If
on,
no
just
one's
I'll tell you
worried,
what. I
let's
have a
do
general. I have a general.
This is a
rule.
great
I
opportunity.
don't start a
to-
debate based with people on a lie. And how about you get
sabotaging?
How about you get
Steven,
to a
show
30th
yourself,
of the
you
audience
coward.
share?
Steven, show yourself.
30th
Don't
of
show
the
your
audience.
co-host.
Ethan, you should show
Steven,
yourself.
excuse-
Show
Ethan,
yourself.
How do you respect yourself as a man, brother?
Steven,
so strongly
Steven, you
that
are
you're
such
not
a coward.
willing to
Stop
debate.
showing your little
I
leprechaun
thought you would
co-host who
welcome
comes
that.
out dressed like your
Ethan, come on,
sidekick.
Ethan. Why do you have to bring on a
I
guy
thought
who
you
has
welcomed
a
this, Steven.
30th
I'm
of the
really
viewership?
That's
shocked.
the saddest thing I've ever heard. So you have a
Just
guy
show
with
Steven.
less viewers to come on to debate him because you can't.
This is classic Cope, by the way. You haven't even debated Ben Shapiro, Sam Seder. You have less viewers than me, Sam Seder. Terror. Do you know why the cam isn't on Crowder right now? Because he's furiously mopping up the semi-liquid shit he sprayed all over his chair the moment Sam Seder opened his mouth, okay?
Well, obviously, if I'm a,
Apparently, he had to think
obviously
about it,
I'm a,
bro.
if I'm a
His
lay
dad
up,
is
not a
helping
debater.
wiping his ass.
Well, look,
Yeah.
you're
On the other
one-
camera.
You're the one who got personal.
Steven's
Started
the one that got angry about
Show
it.
Steven. Don't be
Hold on
such a
second. All right,
coward.
hold on. So let me hear what Pigpen has to say here really quick.
Fair enough.
Show
But
Steven.
Ethan, look, I don't. Hold on a second, Ethan. This is because initially I
Thank
came
you.
out
Hey,
here to
there he,
talk with
hey,
Ethan.
got all
Ethan,
mopped up.
Come on, man. Look, the same reason that I haven't ever had a conversation with Sam Seder is the same reason that Joe Rogan, Sam Harris, Brett
Doing it
Weinstein,
again.
Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro don't own anything. It's based on a lie, Ethan. Just
What's
like
the
you
lie?
claiming my Ethan.
What's the
you
lie?
claiming my
What's the
booker
lie,
reached
Steven?
out to you, Ethan, when you know
Steven,
that's
what's the
not true.
lie?
There's no
What's
one
the
ducking
lie?
you,
Why
Sam.
are you
I've
so
never
afraid?
Sam,
Yeah, listen,
Sam,
I
Sam,
think
Sam,
you're a
Sam.
smart
I can
guy.
call out Mike
I don't
Tyson.
understand why
It doesn't mean that I'm
you are
ducking him.
so worried about this.
Why do you
I
So
don't-
again, what Crowder keeps saying is essentially like, I'm not ducking you, you're just beneath my interest. But at the same time, Crowder is admitting he was screening the majority report to make sure that this exact thing didn't happen. So this is hardcore Cope right here. You're beneath me, but also I will literally rearrange my scheduled events to make sure I don't come across you because I am that scared. This is not disinterest. This is terror.
honestly
Why do you
don't.
feel that anyone, Sam? Why do you feel that anyone owes you airtime when you have a 40th of the audience and you've been doing the
I
show?
don't can't do it.
for
He's
10 times as long?
airtime. I think that Ethan has just given it to me. I didn't ask him for it, and
Right.
so
No, you've been begging
the
for
real
it for a long
question
time
is,
with everyone
Steven,
bigger than
why
yourself.
Are you so
he found
worried
he
about
Can't build an
engaging with me?
audience, and so what
Why
happens is
are
he
you
uploads
so
15
worried about-
times more,
Do you think
has
your
less than a
audience
50th of the
says-
audience.
Well, that's
Do
why
you
he wants to
think your
debate you, is so he
audience-
can build his.
Do you
Sam,
think
come on.
your audience
Yeah,
cares
yeah.
that I only have 1 million subscribers and you have what, 6 or 7 million
I think.
subscribers?
Let me answer. Can I
don't
answer your
think
question?
they
Can I
do.
answer your question? Can I answer your question? Do
Sure.
you want me to answer your question? My audience would say Sam who? Just like Joe Rogan.
See, this is the most sickeningly copium-fueled nonsense I have heard in my life. Crowder's like, dude, I don't even know you. Like, I don't even know anything about you, person with 1 million channel who uploads very often and whose schedule I specifically studied beforehand to make sure there wasn't a possibility of me interrupting you. Like, dude, I don't even, like, know who you are. You're, like, so beneath me right now. Yeah, I'm getting secondhand copium over here. I'm gonna need to, like, wear a mask just to... It's funny, relevant to the debate topic. I'm gonna need to wear a mask just to make sure that I don't get a fatal overdose of the sheer copium radiating off this clown. This is so cowardly. He's throwing off every single excuse that you can give.
Rogan's audience and Ben Shapiro's and Dave Rubin.
Who I am.
Now they all know
name
who you
drop,
are
name
because you
drop.
had to shoehorn yourself into another coward show.
College students, every day that you do that,
Why are we?
change my
Hold on a
mind.
second. Hold on
They
a second.
don't know who those college
This is another
students
lie.
are.
This is another lie.
What possible difference
Let
would
me
it be?
clarify, Sam. Let me clarify, Sam. The change my mind. Everyone knows on the show, right?
Yes.
We've had
How did
professors
you know
on the.
I ended
This is
my
what-
show
okay, he's not
early
gonna talk.
last week,
Ooh.
Stephen? If your audience doesn't
Because
even
you're
know
an
me,
idiot,
how
and
did
half
you
of
know
your
that?
stuff is right to you.
How did you, well, if you claim not to know about me, then how did you know my schedule and then cancel right as my thing? Because you're dumb, man. Because you're stupid. Jesus Christ. No wonder Crowder's dad supervises him. That Crowder's dad is watching this right now and, like, mopping his face. He's Crowder's dad, he's like on the line right now. The secretary at Crowder headquarters. No, they're busy. They're in call. Get him to hang up. Get my son to hang up right now. I'll handle everything. Just get him to hang up. But he can't. The line can't get through.
Because I'm a diehard fan.
Yes, it's because he's a diehard fan.
If you're a
I've heard
diehard
of you,
fan,
but I just met you.
Why not?
Congratulations,
have me
Sam Cedar's fan.
and Stephen
I'm just
have
a
a
huge
conversation.
fan.
I will
Well,
talk
right now,
about
every
the
time I
issues
try and
that
talk,
you
you're
want to
interrupting,
talk
Sam.
about, Stephen.
Right now, I'm trying to talk with you. You're interrupting, Sam.
You bombarded the show.
Okay,
You
go ahead.
bombarded my show under a false pretense. You claimed that just like you claimed that I ducked the debate with you under a false pretense.
See, and suddenly he's so honorable. Like, this is the Hennessy tree guy. This is the like all gay heroes have AIDS guy. And now he's like, "Oh, you've offended my sensibilities. The decorum in here has been shattered by you coming on to speak with me when I didn't want to."
That is what the Politicon people told me.
Oh, is that what they told you? Well, so you're just lazy with your research?
And if Big Tech is...
You continue with the lie. You need to research and say, did Stephen ever accept?
They said you were
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. Hey, whoa, Sam.
And you literally
Sam, sweetheart. Sam,
literally
stand-up
cold
comic
feet.
who we can't find any footage about online. Let me
I'm
finish.
not a stand-up comic.
Oh, you're not? Okay, that makes sense because everything that I've seen is incredibly unfunny and unentertaining.
Well,
Let me explain the audience.
Crowder.
Irony alert, Stephen.
Comedian.
How much have you watched of my stuff, Stephen, that
irony
you
alert.
think that your
Can I
audience
answer your
wouldn't
question?
appreciate our discussing things?
Samuel, can I answer your question?
Yes.
So you have gone on, you've done the same thing with other comments. Everyone has a bigger audience than you because you said, I want to speak with Steven Crowder. You believe that at some point there was some acceptance? When have I ever done a Politicon? Ever? As a matter of fact, in the last decade, I haven't done a single political conference. I hosted CPAC for 4 years and stopped because they suck.
Wouldn't this just mean that after Steven's dad told him not to debate Sam Cedar, that they were so terrified of the possibility that Steven Crowder might get dumpstered at a political conference that they never went to one again? Isn't that kind of the point? That he'll do anything to avoid getting confronted by people who know more than him, which is everybody?
They don't pay, and they're full of losers.
What about
and you've been
Gavin
clamoring
McInnes'
for it, and
Gavin
it's a lie.
told me that you dropped out of doing
How
his
can you
show
say
because
that
This is just hearsay and gossip.
But how can he
I've
say
never met more of a
your
woman.
career when he wants to
I
keep
don't even
competing?
I don't
know.
need to talk
It's
about any
bizarre.
of this.
All right,
Let's talk
okay.
about the issue.
So,
the
Ethan, do you want to
CDC.
have a conversation, Ethan?
Let's talk
About
about
the
big
vaccine
tech.
because
Ethan, do you want to have a
Absolutely, I
conversation?
do.
You're going to hide.
You felt
Absolutely,
so
I do.
strongly
Big
about
tech.
So why are you hiding?
I love Ethan, dude. Should I move my... Because whenever it gets to Ethan, he's reclining further and further. Ethan is treating this situation the exact same way we are, by the way. Ethan is just that you can't see the giant bowl of popcorn sitting on his lap, you know?
behind Sam Cedar.
No. Me and Sam are aligned. I'm not hiding. He just
well, you're just a liar.
So you're a liar.
Because remember, we said, hold on a second.
I mean, it sort of feels like you guys are the ones who are hiding.
Really?
Just a little bit.
Who snuck in on you?
Who's the guy who never appears on stage, never does a live show,
but is
never even allows a shadow of comedy to be perceived on his program? It's just hiding.
Right. He sure does know a lot about this guy who he doesn't know anything about. He keeps like, I don't know anything about you. You're irrelevant. And by the way, Mr. Seder, your choice of sandwich every Tuesday when you go to that local bakery, absolutely reprehensible, you know. And by the way, and you cut the crust off, but I don't know anything about you. It's like what you're beneath me, completely irrelevant.
What we do is out in the open. H3.
Steven, you're wearing a holster.
We agreed. So what? Hold on a second. Yeah.
Doing my
I
Ethan
want to
impression.
normalize responsible gun ownership. Is that your debate? No wonder you had to bring in a hack for you.
Well, no, you're talking about comedy.
Strategy.
That's not very funny.
You're a holster, bro.
Also, your
sponsor is Spartans. He takes advantage of mentally ill women for a show.
Sponsor is about gay boy love.
Okay.
All of it.
All right, Sam. You got it. You got it. I hope you have a wonderful highlight reel.
Hold on. Let me just make one point.
Hope you enjoy Politicon.
Hold on. Let me make one point, Steven.
Take it easy.
Steven, don't bail.
Guys, I appreciate it.
Don't bail, you coward.
Hey, Sam, one thing before I go. Can you take off your glasses?
Hold on.
One thing before I go. Can you take off your glasses?
We just want to see.
I just want to see if you take them off. If you have the Velveteen Rabbit buttons. That's the only thing I'm curious about. It's the only interesting part about it.
Or if there's a soul.
Let's
just
debate.
Take off the glasses.
There might be a reference here that I'm just too young to understand, but like this is so painfully childishly cringe. Like notice how the only time that Sam Seder has bit back on this is pointing out that Crowder's a coward. But apart from this, Sam Seder is just like, shouldn't it be about the issues? Shouldn't it be about the issues? And by the way, yeah, actually, if you're Crowder and you're purporting to understand these issues and want to deliver your arguments to an audience, hypothetically, you should want to test those ideas against the best possible opponent to them, right? That's why he went after a drama podcast channel host rather than a veteran political commentator. It's because he wanted the weak, no offense to Ethan, but, respectively, he wanted an easier opponent.
Let's debate, Steven.
Don't hide behind the glasses.
Don't be a coward.
Don't say let's debate, Ethan. You've lost.
Debate the issues. What does it matter who you debate?
Beta!
All right, good. You guys are good. Thank you.
Beta!
Won't even take off the glasses.
I was right.
All right, yeah. You can run away.
You run away twice. Cold feet again.
Come on, Steven.
Wow. Wow. Dude, I can't believe he admit to following.
Beta!
He admitted that he followed the show last week.
We got him.
That was so bad. He did. I can't believe he admitted that. He can't. So here are two complete. What's the career ending? Steve, this is pathetic. He admitted openly that he was following the Majority Report's broadcast scheduling, and the reason he showed up now is because he thought that Sam Seder was live at the time of this recording, which proves Cold Feet Crowder. The idea that Crowder never booked the Politicon appearance is a lie, and we know it's a lie because he was so scared of Sam Seder that he admitted he was watching. That is so pathetic. He was watching the live streams, making sure the time. Sam Seder, he ends early last week, and all of a sudden there's a family emergency from Steven Crowder's side. This time, he essentially admitted that he lied about his wife being sick last week to avoid Sam, because last week during the original booking, Sam Seder ended his stream early, purportedly to do like voice line acting for Bob's Burgers. And then Crowder was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, and ran away. And now we get this. Why is that career ending when he's openly racist? I don't understand. Well, it's not literally career ending. It's just really, really bad. Also, do you seriously think Do you really think Crowder's audience would mind him saying the N-word that much? Come on. This is way funnier.
And he watched the show last
We
week.
got him.
Early.
Dude, we played him so hard because he literally was following. He saw that you went live, dude. We fucking got him.
Oh my God, we fucking nailed him.
Sam, you look so happy.
Holy shit.
Sam, you look so happy.
So do you want to respond to here? You want to throw him up, Dan? Yeah. Do you want to respond to anything he said now that he's not talking over you?
Well, I mean, look, he's obviously lying about the idea that he wouldn't want to do a debate with me because his audience wouldn't know. Here's a guy who literally tracked my show last week because he was afraid that this would happen. Here's a guy who claims to have watched, I don't know. I don't know what it is he said he watched, but he's not worried about audience not knowing who he's debating because he sits down with random college kids and sandbags them on their campus.
Yeah, the idea that he cares about the relevance of the people he debates. And by the way, Sam Seder runs the Majority Report. He's well known, okay? That's not a lie. The idea that Crowder cares super hard about only debating people with huge profile is absolutely not true. Any excuse he could throw out. And by the way, you know what? I'm not above it. I'm sure all my good friends Sam Seder and Ethan Klein here would agree that if they were here, I should do this. If you're watching the channel right now, hello, 15,000 people watching. You should subscribe. I make good content. So you should subscribe. I love you.
I have the recording from Politicon when they called and he backed out. I have emails from Gavin McGinnis, whose show I would have never gone on, except he offered up a debate with Crowder, and Crowder left. And so, you know, I think Stephen is afraid of debating somebody. You know, look, I do a political show every day. It's dry,
I don't.
It's boring,
it's
and
obvious.
you don't.
Yeah, exactly. And so
he's
if he wants
afraid.
to debate the issues, what's the difference between me and anybody in the world?
I mean, only that he is convinced that for whatever reason, he's nervous about debating me. I don't know why. I don't know why that's the case. I debated Charlie Kirk at Politicon. It was fine. I thought Kirk did a fairly good job. I think Stephen's not a total idiot, but I also do think he's a bit of a liar.
I mean, yeah, we even went through the effort of tracking down this claim that he never booked us for the show. I mean, here's the email, super professional. So I was like, I reached out to the girl. She said, I said, did you send me this email? She said, yes, I did. Years ago, for a few months, I worked for Steven Crowder booking. I'm not quite sure who you'd contact now. I know his dad does the booking for him. Let me know if you need me to try to find you. How would she know that if she didn't work for them?
You know, what's funny is that when the Politicon, when the woman from Politicon called me, she also mentioned that his dad, she said his team, I think Stephen got cold feet. His team pulled him out. And I said, wait, he's got a team? And he said, well, his dad.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, I called my dad to see if he could call Stephen's dad, to see if Stephen would debate me like on some type of play date. But my father reminded me that I was a grown man and I should probably handle it myself.
Oh, you know, that's funny. My dad is actually Zooming with his dad later today to debate this very topics. You know what else he lied about? Filing this lawsuit. There's no lawsuit he ever filed, at least that I can find in the public record, which lawsuits are public record. So he is a liar as far, you know, the evidence does suggest.
Yeah, and the thing is that, you know, they go on and on about getting demonetized from YouTube or whatever it is, and they never, for them, it's really just a way of generating clicks. There are
the same with
policies.
The lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, there are policies that you could pursue, but he can't ever address those because his ideology is such that there's no way for him to address it as a policy matter. So because as a policy matter, he'd have to agree that there needs to be government regulation of these things. And he doesn't believe in government regulation. And so he just goes out there and makes it as if it's like conservatives are somehow being oppressed, as opposed to...
It's actually not true at all. Everybody who talks about these issues,
somebody link Dan's Twitter,
they're taking a conservative or liberal stance on them, they're all getting demonetized equally. The fact that the fact that Stephen wants to go out there and do a mock execution of George Floyd and then act bewildered when his channel gets
Do you think the lawsuit is real? I don't believe anything. No. conservatives, Dan, not Sam, Dan, the editor for the H3 podcast. No, not at all. These, even, by the way, even if these lawsuits actually get filed in the courts, they're still not real. They are virtue signal showboats from top to bottom, start to finish. There is never any actual intent to actually affect legal change. It is just something for them to cover with their YouTube channels.
When his videos get demonetized, it's quite surprising to me that he would even be feigned surprised at that.
Yeah, we get, I don't know what our percentage of demonetization is for our videos. It happens. We just don't whine about it like they do and use it to generate clicks. It's because...
Yeah, this is true. I get demonetized, like, all the time. Like, constant. I get my constant demonetization on my videos. It's something we always have to fight against. YouTube's rules are arbitrary and ever-shifting, okay? But I don't turn this in. I don't pretend that, like, I'm the victim of some targeted persecution. Me, Crowder, it's all just algorithm stuff. That's it. It's that simple. But when Crowder gets demonetized, it's a war against conservatives. When Crowder gets a video strike for, like, any of the, let's be real, objectively racist shit that he does, it's some sort of targeted harassment against him. The victim culture of these people is pathetic.
We're willing to talk about topics that we know. I mean, we don't do shit like what Crowder does that are just out and out racist and homophobic. But we will talk about protests. We will talk about political situations that advertisers don't want to be a part of.
Absolutely,
and that's just part of doing the job responsibly. Is understanding you're not going to be able to suck a dollar out of every single bit of content if you're actually trying to make a point about issues.
And one other thing he keeps bringing up, apparently the reason he's ducked you, Sam, is because you only have 1 million subscribers.
I know it.
And I'd actually challenge somebody to go through all of the interviews he's done and find any with under 1 million, because that would be quite ironic.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that Steven has that metric, particularly since half of his, all of his Change My Minds are with college students who may not even have a YouTube channel.
Right. You have more subs than them, surely.
At least a couple more than that.
Yeah. Well, I feel we got him pretty good here, Sam.
Well, I would have liked to had an exchange of ideas with Steven, so I'm a little bit disappointed. And I know how much you were looking forward to that too. But I guess Steven is just more interested in personalities.
Steven's dad is going to ground him. True. This is better, by the way, than any debate actually could have been. Debates are actually a really, really bad medium for figuring out, for like arriving at truthful conclusions. So even like, if Crowder had actually nutted the fuck up, sat there and debated out the issues, I honestly think this wouldn't have been as embarrassing for him. Like, sure, he would have lost because he's wrong and because he's not as smart as Sam Seder, but his audience is Steven Crowder's audience watches Steven Crowder. So, so they're not too discerning. Steven Crowder could have just sat there, debated out the issues for an hour, grounded out, like made fun of them for being cowardly with like the jump the bait tactic or whatever, and then ran off and he would have looked fine. But this was so much better.
Than he is actually debating issues.
Yeah.
It's sort of sad.
It is sad. It is sad because he claims he's a political thinker, but he didn't think much in this case.
I got to wonder if there are members of his audience right now who are probably thinking like, hey, wait a second, maybe Steven is actually afraid of having some type of exchange. I mean, he spent, how many times did he say in the preface of going on air with you, a lot of times people won't show up for debates with me. And
here we are, baby.
He only wants to debate, people who have a perspective on the left that have a YouTube channel that's over 1 million. Well, maybe you've got to expand.
Doesn't this look bad to any conservatives in Crowder's audience? I think this makes Crowder look insanely weak. I come into this with bias against Crowder because I hate Crowder, of course, but I think that he looks pretty objectively weak here, like for real. Because the thing is, here's what you have to remember: it is entirely possible that Steven Crowder's audience doesn't know Sam Seder that well. But the thing is, Sam Seder has done nothing, absolutely nothing, to give the impression of a bad faith interlocutor. Steven Crowder couldn't even accuse him of that. That's the thing. It's not like Sam Seder is like this lying, miserable, drama-baiting wretch or anything. That's why all of Crowder's insults were like, dude, you're irrelevant. Bro, like, you don't even matter, bro. How many subs do you have? Oh, 1 million subs? Not even 2 million subs. But, like, so to his audience, like, Crowder did not give anywhere near a sufficient justification for this kind of answer. If Sam Seder was some kind of, like, continuous, like, harasser type guy, then, like, okay, fine, maybe. But this was weak, man. Like, oh yeah, Crowder's gonna back out of this. And by the way, Steven Crowder may not have known who Sam Seder is. They do know who Ethan Klein is. They do know who Ethan Klein is. Because Crowder has covered Ethan Klein. And they wanted that debate with Ethan Klein. They wanted that content. They wanted that conversation. And Crowder walked away from it. Now, Crowder doesn't talk about Sam Seder in large part because he doesn't want to shine a light on one of his biggest weak points in the public eye, but yeah. The only other person here who might come off looking bad to some people is Ethan, and to be honest, first of all, who cares? Second of all, does Ethan care? You really think Ethan would give a fuck if, like, Steven Crowder viewers are like, oh, Ethan didn't want to do a debate. How cowardly. Like, okay. His career is over, I guess. Bosh, you didn't have to become a channel member. The video is publicly available. Maybe I want to support Ethan Klein.
Your horizons
maybe you should be looking to debate people who are actually proficient in debating and the topics itself. Instead of, he referred to me as a layup, and I would agree with him in that I'm not politically savvy and I'm not a debater. So what actual value is there in debating me for him, other than for him to look smart and get an easy point?
Exactly.
Holding frame!
But let me say this, that the original points that you were making about when it came to, like, the masks, I've interviewed...
I love these, dude.
I don't know, half a dozen different epidemiologists, maybe a little bit more over the past year on the show, some of the top epidemiologists in the country. And the fact of the matter is that there was confusion and really not the science was not settled on the way that COVID was transferred. They didn't realize that it could be aerosolized. But the bottom line is that wearing masks, once they understood this, the downside to wearing masks is
zero. Well, yeah, according to Steven, scientists are not ever allowed to change their mind. See, scientists need to be right the first time and only the first time. They're not allowed to change their stance with data.
Yeah, by the way, I want to reiterate, all of this, like, sowing doubt on the back end from people like Crowder and, like, Tucker Carlson and so on. Guys, all these people got their COVID shots, okay? Trust me, if you see anyone sowing doubt about whether or not they got their, like, whether or not the COVID shot is a Bill Gates, Fauci microchip, no, they got their COVID shots. You know why? Because they know it works. It's all a political talking point for them, 100%. Remember Joe Rogan? Hey, Joe! He's not watching, I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Joe Rogan would, like, do some pretty hardcore COVID denialism, doubting the mask, kind of calling people pussies. They drive around in their cars, they're wearing the mask. Allegedly, Joe Rogan was incredibly fastidious in sanitizing his studio whenever people came over. Bill Maher, too. Yeah. Like having people, like, go over every little surface with, like, the alcoholic wipes and, like, spraying down everything. You know why? Because they want to posture like some big muscle boy, big dick havers out there, to the public face. But privately, they know it's a problem. They don't want to die. They want to protect themselves. You have no respect for these people. Absolutely none.
And research. And if they do, then they're frauds forever. For everything. Right. I mean, I even saw Steven talking about, Fauci was wrong about AIDS back in, what was it, the early 80s. And
1 million years ago.
Fauci was wrong sometime previously in his career, so therefore he is a fraud forever.
Speaking of fraud, I noticed that
we know anybody else who's been spreading misinformation about the about AIDS. Anybody else come to mind on that?
Crowder put up an email, making a big deal about these emails from Fauci. And one of them he put up was from February 12th, where Fauci was saying, we don't think masks for the general public is going to be that effective or make a point.
Which is what he said publicly.
Which is what he said publicly a month later. But the fact is that the development of the science behind aerosolization of the virus was an ongoing effort. It wasn't until late April that they started to realize this is the way it's going through there. And then it's not easy to take a novel new coronavirus and assess what are the size of the particles.
Right.
But the bottom line is once they said do masks, it is an easy lift to wear a mask. It sucks, but it was the safest thing to do. And I'm sitting here with a study. I mean, they're really starting to come out now that the masks cut down by anywhere from 25 to 35% on the transmission. And so the idea that there are some scientists, he talks about aggregating the science. Look, he doesn't know how to aggregate. He's afraid to debate me. And a guy with 1 million subscribers on YouTube, he's not aggregating the science. There are professionals who aggregate the science.
So one thing that people like Crowder will do is they'll take takes like this and they'll call it authoritarian. And by the way, leaving aside the fact that Crowder will back the big lie about the election being stolen and implicitly defend the January 6th attacks and defend everything Trump did to uninterrupt freedom of speech and all the authoritarian shit he went up to. Leaving all of that aside, okay? The thing is, when people like Crowder say do their own research, they don't actually mean it. What they actually mean is ignore all of the existing research except for all of the people who I platform on my show, who coincidentally all represent the minority position that isn't backed by mainstream sources, and the sources and citations that I'll link in this video, which all defy mainstream thought. So when he said, keep in mind, people who say do your own research, there's nothing wrong with doing your own research. But if you do your own research on the COVID vaccine or on mask wearing, you'll arrive at the dominant position. Because that's where the research leads. Simple as that. If you actually just do your own research, it's oh, okay, I did my research. It turns out the government was right on this one. Yeah. They don't mean do your own research. They mean look at the research we're providing you. We're drip feeding you the tiny slice of the partisan discourse that suits our agenda.
Do you think that the size of your sub count is there a correlation to your skills as a debater? That seems to be what Crowder's understanding is.
Apparently, or it's just that he is looking for any excuse as to why he doesn't want to have a conversation with somebody who actually, day in, day out, reads this stuff and talks to scientists and talks to reporters. I mean, look, you can find a lot of people who will say the earth is flat. And if I aggregate those into all the scientists who say the earth is in fact not flat, then you could say there's some questions. But that's not the way that science works. The fact of the matter is that we have a basic understanding of what's going on. And the idea of you saying, listen to the scientists, particularly addressing YouTube guys.
Well,
right?
When you're Steven Crowder,
a good idea.
Thank you. Yeah, so obviously our whole little battle came when Steven said it's his favorite clip of the year of us saying, listen, if you're it's okay to listen to scientists who are trying to save. It's okay. You don't need to question every single thing.
I like I like, by the way, all the lines being drawn right now too. Crowder is such an unbelievable coward that it's actually radiating outwards and affecting all the other conservatives in some kind of mind control ray. Imagine. By the way, Paul Joseph Watson postures as this alpha male dude, which is funny because he's got the softest, pillowiest lips I've ever seen in my life. And it's imagine defending Crowder's behavior here, imagine posturing as some kind of alpha male and then defending a guy who in that video was admitting that he was screening Sam Seder's live streams. So there was no chance of him talking to Ethan while Sam Seder was available, and like this is defensible. If Crowder just wants to not talk to Sam Seder, he should own up to it too. He should, because all of the shit he says is cope. All the shit that he said is cope. He should have just flat out, if Crowder actually wants like the most clean position on this, okay? All he has to say, simple as this, is I don't want to talk to Sam Seder because I don't like him and because he's a hack or whatever. But he can't even own up to that. He'll pretend like I don't know anything about you, but also I knew everything about you, and it's because nobody in my audience knows you, but you have 1 million subs, and actually everyone knows you. Like this constant, but like anything to avoid owning up to the fact that he was going to get his ass handed to him.
That comes across you, especially if you have no qualifications at all to assess this information. The fact that we need to be skeptical of every single thing of our government, that we don't trust our government to that extent, then our society has failed us in a way that we should just end it now.
But I think like you can be skeptical, but the fact of the matter is that what Crowder is not doing, he's not being skeptical in any type of thoughtful way. He is weaponizing doubts that happen to align with his political ideology. We saw it with the president that he was so supportive of. I mean, it's not hard to find many clips of Trump saying this is just going to go away. It's not really serious. There's only a couple of cases. We shouldn't even test.
Right.
And Crowder, that's why Crowder was doing it. I mean, if he was doing a genuinely skeptical, sort of like categorization and cataloging of the science and laying it out there in a way that showed some measure of integrity. But let's be honest. I mean, people just watch this. Crowder had the opportunity to debate this with somebody who is serious about it and wanted to debate with him. I did nothing but, approach this with a respectful manner. And he was afraid to do that because he knows he's full of it.
So
and he's
much
just delivering
so.
talking points that, his NRA buddies, give him to go.
Yeah,
with
they all, it's all part of the big grift that all these conservative media, it's like you said, it's like they suck every dollar out of every controversy, and that's all that matters to him because, he's got these big, beautiful leather holsters, and those things don't fill themselves, and it is worth mentioning once again that he noticed that you ended your show early last week.
That's insane. I can't believe this doesn't just mean, not only does this mean he's a coward, by the way, this is insanely stupid. Crowder's team has gone to extensive lengths to pretend that they're not avoiding Sam Seder. So to admit that he was nervously watching his live stream feed to make sure he was otherwise occupied is unbelievable to me. Like, yeah, that is a self-report. He threw all that work away. He just tossed it into the garbage bin. God, for nothing. Soiled it. It really is crazy though, too. All that effort thrown away because there's no other reason you would do that. Absolutely none. Absolutely zero. No other explanation. It's practically deductive at this point. The first thing he said was, "This is a nightmare." Yeah, that was before he put on the act,
We specifically were like, I know he's watching because he's so afraid of Sam.
Wait, hold on. Crowder called in a huge favor, have Donald Trump Jr. on his show tomorrow at the last minute so people will stop talking about this. I'm going to check his YouTube. If that's true, that is insane. If he actually did that. Let me see if there's an upcoming live stream. Oh, wait. Let me check Twitter. That would be so amazing. No way! Oh my God! It's real! It's real! It's real! It's real! He's actually like, his dad is scrambling like anything. The phone! Please! Donald Trump Jr., please! And we'll give you anything. We'll give you, I'll suck your dick, sir. Please come on my son's show tomorrow. Oh my God! God. No, Vosh had the sucking dick part. We're reformed now. We can't do that anymore.
To pre-record something, air it
ratio
so that he
Deploy
thinks
the
you're
ratio.
live.
Right
And it
now,
worked.
as we are talking,
You're
there is a live show
Yeah,
that's
and
on.
it worked.
And he came on.
noticed.
We started the show 2 minutes early, and he did not walk onto the set until our show was live.
So true.
And you call. I gotta say, you called it last week,
Thank
and
you.
I was like, I can't. I just don't believe that he's that nervous.
Yeah, he was. I can't believe he admitted it. What a dumbass to
What a
admit it.
dumbass. And also, like, the alternative is I think that Sam could show up, and I can't wait to show my audience how this moron who's been dogging me supposedly and sending people to, debate me and this and that, I'm going to put this to rest once and for all. If Steven Crowder was as much of a
And just one quick thing, by the way, you know for a fact that this is a panic get, because if it wasn't, there's no way they'd book it this quickly. Zero chance. Booking Donald Trump Jr., this is something they would do weeks in advance to promote it as much as possible. They would get as much lead up as possible. Booking it, this was booked, this tweet went out 5 p.m. It's going out at 10 a.m. ET, 7 a.m. my time. So what is that lead up? 14 hours? Yeah, no. 14 hours on a Tuesday morning. Yeah, that's just an ordinary booking time, This
man as he seems to be with his, all his weightlifting and his gun and his holster. He's got a weapon, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I'm coming unarmed. Hands up. If you want to shoot, go ahead.
How much
shoot.
alpha brain do you think he takes in the morning?
He's probably juicing. And the idea that he had at least a week in advance knowledge that he couldn't come prepared to debate somebody who actually reads this stuff and spends their time doing this is almost like the saddest thing that one could say about Steven Crowder.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some other things.
Oh, yeah.
Probably a few.
Wow. Steven.
It's really sad. I mean, I was looking for...
Ethan is really running me through my paces here because he keeps slouching so hard that I have to... Should I pee over here? I need to run to the Ethan free zone where he can't slouch into the posture check.
But and it's the ultimate irony, right? As you've pointed out, is that he's the guy who got famous for with the debate me. You can't, if you're the debate me guy, that's your claim to fame. You can't dodge people that want to debate you, Steven. You gotta own this thing that you create, this image you created. Stop being a bitch. Stop being a baby. You're like, come on, Steven.
Okay. I think that Donald Trump Jr. will probably do anything for money, right? Okay, Ethan, here's how you go for the double tap, okay? All right? Donald Trump Jr. shows up at the Zoom call tomorrow, okay? It's Sam Seder. It's Sam Seder! He's coming back! He woke up early. He's coming in for round 2, baby. The switch up, okay? Go distract Donald Trump Jr., wave like a Polaroid of his father, like out with a hug, like entice him with some fatherly affection, run him off somewhere, I don't know, take him and get some ice cream for him, and Sam Seder shows up, okay? Oh my God. Oh.
I think he lost the right to those holsters. I think he has to retire them.
Honestly, yeah, I think
I'm
maybe
calling
it's time
on retiring those holsters today.
Normalize wearing a squirt gun instead is what I would say to him. He'd have to, or maybe like a Nerf. He'd have to have like a Nerf weapon. Like, I don't. Is he old enough to now like have a license for a handgun, or he doesn't need to anymore? Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, like, I think we need to have a meeting with his dad. And,
I have his
bring
email.
father.
So I'll be
get to the brains behind the
email him,
operation.
just say, we think that
I don't know if his dad will be answering any of my emails after today.
After today, we're gonna have to ask for his badge and weapon.
We're both fathers. I can't tell you how disappointed I would be in my son if he did what Steven did.
Oh, so disappointed, son. Yeah, son.
I just my son had his final Pony League baseball game yesterday, and I saw more courage from some of those 8-year-olds than we witnessed from Steven Crowder today. I mean, I would say probably like a good 3 or 4 of them were a lot tougher than Crowder. One got hit with the ball, the other one tripped.
Yeah.
And, that's one of them didn't have their favorite hat, but they all played through it. Right. They all played through
Inspiring.
it. And sad that Steven.
Did you find it interesting too how he wouldn't put the camera on him for a minute? It was just on his sidekick.
During the poopy wipe.
Yeah, what do you think was going on? Do you think he was like going like, Dad,
Yeah.
Get Dad in here.
Yeah.
Get Dad in here now.
Got it. But I'm glad he finally brought it back because I was like, what is with the sidekick? Why are you throwing him under the bus?
I know it. And the sidekick had to pretend like he was a big fan of mine. And
He had to
that's
come
why
in
they've
real
been
quick. Yeah.
monitoring the show. That is.
His sidekick wasn't even drunk yet. It is early. Usually that guy's pissed drunk by the time they do their show.
To be honest, like I have the only time I think I've watched an extended run of Crowder show was when he was talking about you. I was trying to figure out like how did this start, and he was really drippily condescending for a guy who is afraid to actually test his beliefs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised. I haven't seen him so weak since watching him get punched in the face and dropping like a house of cards
by an old man,
Wisconsin.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, that's the other thing. I don't know if you knew this. So Crowder, when he was complaining about what happened on YouTube to him, he put out a compilation video of people responding to when he got decked by a union guy in Wisconsin at the 2011 march protest against Scott Walker. And in that compilation, I was in it. And he put the video out. And then he pulled it back and cut me out of the compilation and reposted it on Twitter.
This is what I mean. This is why he doesn't talk about Sam, doesn't bring up Sam. He says, like, my audience doesn't know about you. That's because he makes a very deliberate effort to avoid mentioning Sam because he's so scared. Because it's such a black spot on his record,
Do we have that stuff?
Oh wow, he is deathly afraid of you.
It is. Somebody on Twitter saw it and sent it in. We did a video about it, but it is weird.
He is deathly afraid.
And how he pretends. That's the thing I don't get. Like, how do you spend so much time worrying about somebody that you think is not big enough to even discuss?
Who is he supposed to debate then? If not you.
I don't know.
Yeah, me? I'm not a political debater. I'm just some dumbass. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's trolling through to find makeup tutorial sites that have like 2 million subscribers. Yeah. Or, I mean, any.
Okay, this is a bit of an esoteric joke for people who only follow me and nobody else. But how about Crowder? How about Crowder tries to go with Trisha Paytas? I don't actually know how to say their last name. Trisha? That's what needs to happen, okay? That's the spite roll around, okay? Yeah, or like James Charles or something like that. Paytas? Is Paytas? That's it, Paytas. Yeah. That's the roll around, okay? This go after. I think James Charles could beat Steven Crowder in a debate. I think that if you put me alone in a room with James, by the way, James Charles, I think he's a disgusting creep. I'm just saying, like, this is how low the bar is. But I think that if I gave him like 10 minutes of debate prep, like just put him in the power chamber for 10 minutes, I feel like the Crowder would just get obliterated. You think James Charles could beat Steven Crowder in a physical fight too? Oh, I guess we would have to see. That would be some content. Yeah, I don't want to be alone in a room with James Charles. I take that back. I'd give him 10 minutes of prep points in a public place. Some police on the scene, like off to the side in case anything happens.
Anybody who doesn't
Minecrafters
know...
have a lot of subs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's some Minecrafters my son watches.
Yeah, you'd be fine. I'd be fine. I'm not underage. Yeah.
That maybe he'd like to debate on some of these issues.
Right.
Wow.
All right.
Dream versus Crowder. Dream versus Crowder. Dream. We gotta get Dream to not take his normal pills for a couple of weeks, so he's ready to go sicko mode. Okay. Crowder. Not enough brain force pills. Oh, wait. Is it true that Dream is conservative? Is that a thing? Is that where they might end up agreeing on everything? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. You know what? Mike from PA. That's the Dream.
Well, we got him, dude.
Yeah, that was fun. I appreciate your attempting to further the discourse.
What's a tip, Crowder?
That's all I care about. And the end of the day, I just wanted to put forward the best conversation possible to inform the most people possible. But Steven today wasn't able to do that for us.
Yeah, another thing to remember, by the way, is that, and I'll defend this to death, okay? If you're not hardcore posturing off of it, and Ethan is not posturing at all here. By the way, Ethan is not posturing at all. He's like, I don't really do politics that much. This isn't like my forte. I'm dumb, whatever. Just we need to get a more informed person. He's not posturing. And this is an incredibly important subject, COVID, that has a lot of implications to public health. As a massive public figure, it is actually good form for Ethan Klein to make sure that his position is being represented by the most educated person he can get. That is 100% true. Right there. If it's about the ideas, then it's about the ideas. But of course, with Crowder, it was about the views that he'd get beefing with a popular YouTube drama man. And we all want our views, don't get me wrong, but hey, if Crowder's as big dick as he pretends to be, why didn't he just debate Sam Seder? Debate them both and win if that was on the table.
I know, it's so sad.
It's a disappointment.
You gave him the opportunity.
And I hope his dad does have a stern talking to, like, son, this is the way to behave. This was not the proper way to behave in this situation, and gives him a good fatherly talk.
There's been times where I've said to my son, we're going to call up blankety blank's dad or mom, and you're gonna get on the phone and you're gonna apologize. And I just want to say, I'm sure I don't want to speak for you, but we'll be very gracious when Steven's dad calls and puts Steven on the phone.
When someone apologizes, you accept that.
Yeah,
you know, because you have to.
I want to make that absolutely clear that if Steven calls to apologize, I'm going to be gracious about it.
Yeah, that's funny. You just reminded me. He kept telling me, I respect anyone that enters the ring, and I'll make my fans known of that. I respect that you're willing to enter the ring with me. And apparently he doesn't respect that about you.
No, I guess not.
You don't have enough subscribers.
I don't have enough subscribers to earn the respect to enter the ring. When you enter the ring,
1 million
you
is
must
a lot,
do so.
I'd like to know at what point you are capable of entering the ring.
What's the subscriber threshold?
What is
because the first time he made this argument, I only had, I think, 500,000 subscribers, and then I feel like the goalposts are like he's dragging them with him as he runs along down the field, and they're just getting further and further.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try.
Yeah, how many YouTube subs does Donald Trump Jr. have?
To get more intel on that for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I appreciate that. And, maybe folks can, reach out to him on Twitter and ask him politely, how far are the goalposts?
Let's find out so that we can have something to work towards.
Right.
So
exactly.
if you can ask Steven, how many subs does Sam need to be worthy of the big stage?
Because I'll stick at it just to hit that number.
Well, we can buy you subs, or we can work something out.
True.
This actually happened to me with James Lindsay. James Lindsay, the guy who did the critical race theory thing, who talks suspiciously like a white nationalist. That guy did an article about why the left doesn't want to debate. So naturally, all the debate lords in the left showed up to say, "Hey, want to debate?" And he was like, "No, you're too small. You're too small. You're too tiny. You're all too small to debate me. I don't know why I'm talking like Trump. He doesn't sound like Trump. And then I showed up, and I was larger than the arbitrary line that he had set, and he said it was because I had an anime avatar. Like, I had a drawn avatar in my Twitter thing, because it's a drawing of my face that I did instead of a picture of my face. Which, yeah, I support anti-anime action, don't get me wrong, but...
We could just buy the subs. Yeah. That really occurred to me, but yes, I should have done that. I should have done that today. I should have bought a million
hold
subs.
on, Steven. Give me a minute.
All right. Well, I've got to. My show, the pre-record is going to end in about 20 minutes. The one that is there almost.
And then the King Sam Seder jumps in to do the second half of his show live after broadcasting the pre-recorded first half. The whole time this has been happening, a phantom Sam Seder has been being broadcast on the Majority Report as a pre-recorded live stream. Nobody the wiser. And he's just gonna, after this recording, he just drop off, jump back on. Yeah, buddy. Just had a convo with Crowder.
Exclusively for Steven and his dad. I hope they're enjoying
and it worked. They watched it. Amazing. Amazing that he admit that.
Oh
for a parent, smart guy, he really shouldn't have said that.
That was probably the biggest mistake he made.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And the second one was coming after me.
Yeah. that was probably the first mistake he made. And then there were subsidiary mistakes that followed.
All right, Sam.
I don't know how much he knows, but I would like to believe that Sam Seder has no idea who Ethan Klein is, because I delight in believing that Sam Seder is just a complete boomer who is completely unfamiliar with internet culture. Like, he's just sitting there with he's just with Ethan Klein. He's just like, yeah, all right.
Ethan, it was a pleasure. I can't thank you enough for the opportunity. I'm sorry,
you.
Steven
this was great. Yeah, apologies to Steven and his dad for.
Yeah, me too.
You know,
me too.
Just feel well. All right.
Have
a good day. Bye.
You too.
Okay, a couple of quick follow-ups to that absolute slamma-jamma. That absolute banger. First of all, massive props to Ethan Klein and to Dan, the editor, who apparently facilitated all of this. Absolutely, very rarely do we get just such absolute and undistilled W's that we can all revel in. It's like a huge bonfire. Massive thank you to Ethan Klein giving permission for me to watch this when it went live on his channel. That was super rad too. I really appreciate that. That's really kind of you, man. Obviously a huge dub to Sam Seder. I'll get you on your show one of these days. I don't even want to talk politics. I just think you're pretty cute, man. Dubs all around to everyone, really. Just really fantastic stuff all around. And I'll say it. I'll say it. And if you're watching and you love me very much, then you should sub to this channel, and you should sub to my brand new second channel, which soon I'll be splitting my content between these two channels. For algorithm reasons, I have been assured by YouTube wizards that there is a good reason to do this. It's called the Vosh Pit. There are two channels called the Vosh Pit. I'll have the other one nuked from orbit soon enough. But this one has this face on it, and the other one has this. And the guy who runs this one's cool, but I want you to sub to this one. And I'm just saying, no big